joy when my heart is hard to move, when my music's lost its groove, when I have too much to lose. I choose joy, I choose joy. 1, 2, 3. Hate is all I see. I choose joy, I choose joy. For the one that hurt me, I choose joy, I choose joy. When betrayal and lies hide from my eyes, look up to the skies, and I choose joy, I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. This moment right here, I choose joy, I choose joy. For the ones that I hold dear, I choose joy, I choose joy. To be what I must be, for the light to shine on me, for everybody to be free. I choose joy, I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Peace and love abound. I hear the sweetest sound. The chain has come undone. Love is all around. I choose joy. This moment right here. I choose joy. I choose joy. With the one that I hold dear. I choose joy. To be who I must be. For the light to shine on me, for everybody to be free. I choose joy, I choose joy. For everybody to be free. And I choose joy, I choose joy. We survived.
Am I on? Okay. I can never tell. My ears, I wear hearing aids and sometimes things go in funny. So anyway, welcome to Traverse City. Welcome to Unity of Traverse City. It's a beautiful day and my name is what? You got it. My name is Ann Reed and I'm your worship assistant today. And I get to come early and I get to sit in here while the musicians rehearse. And I'll tell you what, you are in for a major, 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 major treat today. It's just phenomenal. So anyway, welcome. If you're new to Unity of Traverse City, if this is your first time, I'm so glad you're here. If this is your second, third, or 1,000th time, I'm still so glad you're here. So let's open with a prayer. And the prayer today is really about being in awe. So let's close our eyes. Mother, Father, God, I am in awe when I see you in all things. Beauty surrounds us. In nature, I see glorious colors, infinite life expressed in myriad forms on land, in the water, and in the air. I hear birds singing and enjoy fragrant flowers blooming. I stand in wonder at human creations, admiring the vision, the skill, and the power used to bring ideas into fruition. We celebrate the awe-inspiring beauty and strength of the human spirit and the infinite spirit that empowers all people to do great things, to give care when another is in pain, to speak a word of peace to a troubled heart, to give hope to one whose faith is flagging. God, you are the source of all the beauty and the goodness that surrounds us. When I think of all the ways that you are expressing, I am simply in awe. And with that, I'd like to all of us to say our affirmation. With God as my peace, I rest deeply and breathe easily. Amen.
If you'd like to stand, this is our shot. Gather the Spirit, harvest the plough. Our sacrifice will kindle on flame. Witness the mystery in each hour. The trials in this life appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured and conscience refined, with longing and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun. Winter to spring and summer to fall, a chorus of life resounding as one. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. In hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
Thank you. Well, we have a lot of stuff going on around here, so I have a few announcements that I need to make about all that stuff. First is our August guest speakers. Today is our beloved Reverend Kit Holmes. Thank you, Kit. And Kit will be here next week, and then Judy Grimes will be here the last 2 weeks of August. So a great lineup as always. Thank you very much, both of you. And today, after fellowship, is the organizing meeting for the Peace Begins With Me retreat. And I don't know if Jill is here. Oh, there she is. Jill is here today, but it's a conference. Do you want to talk a little bit about it, Jill? Yeah, and again, explore it, whether you decide to go or not. It could be a very, I'm sure, heartwarming, amazing kind of experience. Oh, and on September the 13th, that will be the World Day of Prayer, and our chaplains are hosting a World Day of Prayer event here on that Wednesday, September 13th at 7 p.m. And I believe that will be in the sanctuary, Jill or Marianne? Okay, in the sanctuary. It includes live streaming the opening ceremony from Unity Village, followed by an hour of silent prayer, holding sacred space for congregants' prayer requests. Everyone is encouraged to attend. So I'm sure that would be a very, very moving experience. So if you're free on the 13th at 7 o'clock, please join us. The Boomerang Gang. How many of you were involved with the Boomerang Gang? Oh gosh, a lot of you. Wish I could raise my hand. I wasn't. Alan was. He was very involved in it. But this is a gathering of congregants, or I guess anyone really who wants to join. And generally, the way that would work, there would be a potluck meal and then a discussion on a topic that everyone had agreed upon. And I understand it was an amazing time of fellowship and sharing and just building our relationships with one another. So there's been a request to get that started again, and it will start on September 23rd, which is a Saturday. Not real sure yet of the exact time and place that will be confirmed, but we at least wanted you to get that on your calendar. So if you're free again on the 23rd and are willing to join all of us, Vicki, go ahead. All right, great, great. So I'm really excited about that, and I will join. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah. So that's starting. And on Saturday, September 30th, our friend Dick Mallory will be back. He's going to share his backpacking adventures with us. So whether you're a backpacker or not, Dick is amazingly entertaining just to hear his stories and what he's done and where he's going. He actually has hiked the, what was it, the 3,200 miles along the Continental Divide. He's done that in his past. He's also hiked the Pacific Crest Trail and then what he calls many short hikes between 600 and 800 miles. I mean, the guy is amazing. I have to think of a different word. I've used amazing like 6 times already. And you're not supposed to do that as a public speaker. That's a no-no. Anyway, he recently returned from a 500-mile hike along the Colorado Trail, and that's what his subject will be that evening. So it will be in the amphitheater. If you've never been to the amphitheater, bring something to sit on, unless you are very, very well padded here. It's a great spot to be in, but you're sitting on rocks, so you want to be comfortable. So we're hoping you can all join us for that. And then this is really exciting. We are going to be forming a new Unity of Traverse City bookstore. Is Kay in the audience? I don't know, Kay, if you... I don't know that you're the official organizer of this, but I know that you've been very excited about it and you've been our librarian. This will actually be a bookstore where we can bring in books and books will be sold, I think, for really reasonable. A donation will be right for a donation. But right now we're looking for bookshelves. And if you don't have a bookshelf, if you're handy and you're a carpenter and can build a bookshelf, we're looking for you too. So we need some shelves to get the bookstore going. And finally, this is Script Sunday. If you're not familiar with Scripts, it's really kind of like a gift card. You buy it from a particular store that you probably are already going to, like a Target or a gas station or Myers. And because you've purchased that, a little piece of that comes back to Unity of Traverse City. So it's a really easy way for us to raise some funds for the church and hopefully a convenience for you and your shopping. So if you need to purchase any scripts, I think there's a sign-up sheet on the back table in the lobby there. And if you have any questions about that, you can ask, I think, any of us that have been around for a while, and we can help you fill out that form. It's very simple. And with that, we'll go to our next
You can
song.
remain seated for this one. I feel the Spirit moving in me. 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 I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me. I feel the love moving in me.
Thank you. It's actually the perfect lead into today's meditation, which we will begin here in just a second. I debated about whether to share this or not, but I'm going to because it's just heavily in my heart and on my mind, and I don't want this to be a negative. It's really a positive. But a year ago, we had a celebration here for my late husband. He was with us. And that word comes back again. It was simply an amazing time. For those that didn't know Alan, he had Parkinson's and he had dementia, and he lost all of his mobility. He lost his ability to speak. He sometimes couldn't engage. But that day when he was here, he lit up. It was just incredible. So the meditation that I partially wrote and partially plagiarized, to be completely honest. The topic that I chose, though, was imagination. And in part, it's because of the work that we're doing through a course that I'm currently participating in, the Prosperity Plus 3 course. And it's just stimulated that I don't know, that creativity, that kind of kid in me that's been gone for a while. And what I was reflecting on is Alan was so much about imagination and creativity. So I really believe in part that the reason that word came to me wasn't only kind of the work that I'm doing or that I'm doing with the group, but it also came to me because it was a year ago that he was here. And he's gone now. He's gone on to whatever his next phase is. But I'm going to dedicate this in my heart to him. So thank you. So imagination is really a remarkable gift. It's really a limitless canvas on which we can paint the tapestry of our inner world. It's a force that fuels creativity. It inspires innovation, and it allows us to envision a better future. So today I want you to embrace the boundless universe within. Close your eyes, and with each breath, feel your mind soaring beyond the constraints of the physical realm. In the sanctuary of imagination, there are no limitations, no borders to contain your thoughts. Embrace this boundless universe within and recognize that every extraordinary achievement began with an idea, a spark of imagination. As children, we were masters of creating fantastical worlds within our minds. Today, let us revisit that childlike wonder and remember that every groundbreaking accomplishment first started as a mere castle in the air. Nurture your dreams, no matter how unrealistic they may seem, for they hold the seeds of transformation. Imagination liberates us from the self-imposed limitations. Identify the beliefs that hold you back and replace them with empowering visions. In the silence, embrace the idea that you are capable of more than you know, and let your imagination lead you to the path of growth and fulfillment. Imagination is an infinite source of inspiration, a beacon guiding us through the uncharted waters of life. Embrace its power, nurture it with creativity, and let it fuel your purpose. As you embark on this journey, remember that the canvas of your imagination knows no bounds, and the colors you choose will paint the masterpiece of your life. And thank you, God. Amen.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world, there's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with your imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Thank you. There we are. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge the beautiful meditation and honoring of your late husband, and for so beautifully setting up what I'm going to talk about today. We do send out the topic ahead of time so that we try to coordinate the songs and the meditations and so forth. And we are talking about imagination today. The mental faculty of imagination. We have 6 mental faculties. We are endowed with that as human beings. The 6 mental faculties: imagination, intuition, reason, perception, will, and memory. of all of these, and they all work together, of all of these, imagination is one of the most powerful ones that we have. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Is that not new thought right there? The basis of it. Look for it. Believe in it. See it. Claim it. Change our perception about what is going on, the conditions and the circumstances and the appearances in the world. And the way that we do that is with imagination. M. Curtis Hopkins, who was one of the pioneers of the New Thought movement, said, if you can redden your face with a thought, you can straighten a crooked bone with one as well. And we back up and we go, oh, I can't do that. But think about it for a minute. If you go back to something that you perhaps did, and I think we're all old enough here to know to say, thank God the internet was not around when we were teenagers. Social media was not around in those days to have captured the things that we may have done that were probably maybe a little bit crazy, maybe a little stupid, maybe whatever. Maybe not for our highest and best good. I know I did. But if I go back to a thought from that time, I can embarrass myself. I can redden my face. I can still feel the physiological response of that experience in my body, unless I've done work around healing, forgiveness, letting it go, celebrating it, whatever. So that stays with us. And the power of imagination is, we were all teenagers once at some time. How many of you had at some point teenagers in your life? How many of you had kids that, teenagers? Okay. The power of imagination. What went on in your imagination the first time they drove a car? Or when they didn't make curfew? Your imagination went probably around the globe of every possible, imaginable, horrible thing that could have happened to them, right? We create with that. We do create with that. Our thoughts, we hear this all the time. This is one of the premises of New Thought. Our thoughts are creative. Well, how is this so? What about our emotions? What about our emotions? That's really important. We need to feel things, and we need to, right? We've all encountered people. I have encountered people in my life many times who don't seem to have much control over their emotions. Has anybody else encountered people like that? Yes. Okay. And a lot of times, what we can do is we can get attached to the idea that our emotions are something that just come and go willy-nilly and we have no control over them, but we give ourselves permission to say, well, I was just feeling that way, so this and this happened. It's an excuse for sometimes bad behavior. And we kind of try to let ourselves off the hook by saying, well, it was the feeling. Not really. It was the thought that prompted feeling. You go, well, wait a minute, how is this? Wait, what's happening here? We come to our beliefs through a process of having the thought first, and Anne touched on this in her prayer. Everything was first a thought. Everything in manifest universe, every experience that we've ever had has begun with a thought. We have hundreds of thousands of thoughts per day that roll around in this brain. We take all of the things in with our five senses. We have the sixth sense of intuition and other senses. Our intuition, our perceptions of our reasoning, our will, all of those five mental capacities. And we look at, well, wait a minute, how did I get here, and how do I believe? Why do I believe what I believe? If you bring to mind that the person maybe that you had very early on in those teen years, maybe that first crush that you ever had. The thought of that person today may still bring up all of those beautiful or not so beautiful emotions about that person. Unrequited love, or maybe it was a quited love. However you say that, it was quited. It was a quited love. Our beliefs come from the thought first. It's the thought that leads to the feeling, that leads to the action that produces our results, our experience in the material world. And the pattern, the way this goes, is the thought leads to the emotion, leads to taking an action, the action becomes the result, and the result re-energizes that initial thought. And so the pattern continues. So we go, okay, well, that happened when I had this thought and I had this feeling and I took this certain action. Oh, I got this result. I like this result. I'm going to do that again. Or maybe I don't like the result, but I'm shutting off the flow at the emotion. I go, oh, that didn't feel good. But we're still creating some kind of an action and we get some kind of result. I think about something in my early days where I had a thought. I was in the world of imagination. I was in the world of wonder. I was in the world of awe of the universe around me, as we do as children. We do that naturally. It is our natural state of being to look at the world and go, oh my gosh, wow. How does this work? What does that do? And somewhere along the line, when we are in that expression of awe and wonder, somebody says, don't do that. We ask questions, natural questions about, well, how does that work? And somebody says, don't ask those kind of questions. That's the break. That is the emotion that gets attached to the thought. And so what do? Well, it's not okay for me to ask questions. So our action is we pull in. We stop asking questions. We stop asking questions of the people around us, but we maybe internalize them. And we keep saying, well, it's not making sense, but I'm getting this message. Action, result becomes belief. How do we get out of this do loop? Imagination. Every thought that we think we have, we really do have control over it. We just don't know it. We have control over where we want to go with it, the belief or the emotion we want to attach to it. And the thing about that is we use that what if question. What if? And Anne referenced this. We just finished our second week in the Prosperity Plus 3 program. And the participants, the intrepid participants, are working on their vision statements. They're working on living in that question of possibility, of infinite possibility, in wonder, in imagination. What if? What is this thing that Spirit has imbued in me that wants to express itself in more prosperous ways in all areas of our lives? Living in the question of what if? What would I love? Getting back to that childhood awe, that sense of wonder of, if I do live in an infinitely abundant universe, what are the possibilities for my life? It's a beautiful thing to witness what people are bringing into, I would love to do this. I would love to do this. It is a beautiful thing to witness. It's a beautiful thing to give ourselves permission to look, to change the thought. The founder of religious science, Dr. Ernest Holmes, was the originator of that change your thinking, change your life mantra that we hear, that Wayne Dyer took to incredible levels in the world and the work that he did in the world. And it sounds so incredibly simple, and it is. It's a very simple concept. And it's also one that's really challenging. That's where our work is, changing our thoughts about how we are in the world, who we are in the world. If we go back to this very, very, very basic thing in New Thought, which is God is all there is. There is this beautiful affirmation that Ernest Holmes has in the book called This Thing Called You, which is one of those beautiful, short but very powerful, very dense little books that I've dog-eared and marked and underlined everything in it. And it says, I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination that scatters moonbeams across the waves and holds forces of nature in its grasp. Isn't that beautiful? The same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves. Do you get that mental picture? How many of you go out to the bay when the moon is full? That light, I see the smiles like, oh, yeah. And you feel everything shift in you. There's something greater that is bringing this beautiful thing, this moment. Our thoughts, our intellect are very, 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 very powerful creative things. And to balance it with the emotion that is where the magic happens. We can be completely logical about things, especially in a crisis situation. Well, I have to be logical, and I have to do what's next, and I have to take care of this, and I have to fix this, and it's necessary. But we can't stay so married to the logic, the intellect, to intellectualizing things that we cut off completely the wonder and the mystery, which is what our emotions give to us. We can't, there isn't anybody in this room, me, myself included, that could have a definitive word for what beauty is. It's an experience. Love is an experience. Peace is an experience. Harmony is an experience. And we can tap into that sense of wonder by using imagination. If I asked you right now, you don't even have to close your eyes. If I said, imagine the Statue of Liberty, could you see it in your mind? Doesn't say in letters, Statue of Liberty. You see it in pictures. We think in pictures. This is the lesson that we had last week in the class. We think in pictures. If I said, picture your front door, you're not seeing Frontdoor. You are seeing color, you are seeing texture, you are seeing shape, you are seeing size, you are seeing all of the things in the physical realm, in pictures. It's a beautiful, it's a beautiful thing to stay in imagination. And we can solve the seemingly unsolvable problems of life by beginning there. By giving ourselves permission to say, what if? We keep ourselves in a limited structure of what we know. That's the faculty of memory. We've had this experience, we've had this, we've done that process where we've had the thought, we've had feeling, we've taken an action, we've gotten a result, we've repeated it. It's become an embedded belief, a paradigm, a habit that we don't even think about anymore until it doesn't seem to work for us anymore. And rather than our conditioning is rather than going into the land of the solution, into imagination and saying, well, what if there's a different way to do this? We keep going back and going back and going back and going back and trying to fix the problem with the old way of stuff that didn't work. Einstein said that imagination is far more powerful than knowledge, and I'm paraphrasing, because knowledge is limited. There's a limited structure of what we know, where imagination takes us beyond, so beyond anything we have ever experienced before, and we bring it we can say, well, there is a possibility that this could happen. I was thinking about the song that came from the Willy Wonka movie, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. And if you go back and look at the original, which I think was 1971 with Gene Wilder, the set design and the special effects by today's standards were primitive. Painted sets, mechanical things, no computer generated nothing. It was like stagecraft 101, right? And look where we've come to be the Imagineers at Disney over all of these years. And Walt Disney's way of looking at life was, there is a way of do this. There is a way to do this. There is a way to accomplish this. And it started with his movies, The Story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. I don't know if you knew that or not. That's how Disney started. The story, the inspiration, the idea would not leave him alone. He kept seeing it in his imagination. It was a divine inspiration. It kept coming to him. And all of the obstacles that seemed to get in his way, he didn't have enough money, he didn't have the right people, didn't have the right tools, didn't have the right technology. But he stuck with it, and he kept saying, I see it in my mind, I see it in my mind, I see it in my mind. They had things, if they were not available in current technology, he found the people who would build it, who would invent it and create it, because he saw it in his mind. He saw it in his mind. We have people among us today doing the very same thing, staying tapped into the inspiration, to the passionate inspiration of an idea that's like, okay, I know this is coming to me and there's something for me to do with it. And I'll just say, I've had a lot of very creative, inspired ideas in my life that I have turned away from. And I know I've said this probably several talks before. We get that experience, we go, yeah, I had that idea, didn't do a thing with it, and then down the road, 6 months or a year, whatever, you find someone who has taken it and run with it and changed the world with it. There is not a lack of ideas anywhere. We live in an infinitely intelligent and creative universe. We are in collaborative relationship with it. It is always giving us the next step. It is always giving us the next piece of information. And it is our job to receive it, get out of the way, trust, be willing to let go, that we know how it will come about. That is our biggest obstacle, is getting attached to how, because how says, I'm using my limited past experience thinking to try to solve something that cannot be solved. It's another Einstein. A problem cannot be solved at the level of thinking that created it. There has to be a new thought. That is, you get that, why new thought is called new thought? Because it is looking at what is, yes, what is, and what if. And what if? It's cool stuff. As you can tell, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. So here's the thing. Creative thought, all thought is creative, is about where we're placing our attention. So it is imperative that we begin to pay attention to where we are putting our attention, so that we're not going into autopilot, and especially the things that we tell ourselves, the beliefs that we have that keep us in limited expression of the divine. As I said, we think in pictures. I usually share with you on my drive from Manistee, there's a little Baptist church west of Interlaken. And they always have a little something on their marquee that most of the time always fits in with what I'm saying. And what was really cool is this morning, the little thing said, Sometimes things must be believed to be seen. That is God at play, y'all. That is that relationship that I'm talking about. It is joyful. It is filled with gratitude. It is filled with ease. It is filled with wonder. I was smiling with so much gratitude, and then Ann and I were connecting this morning about what was going to happen and what she was sharing and talking about what's been going on in class. And I feel this joy rising up and this openness and this gratitude and this flow. So I'm smiling and I'm coming down Hammond Road. And I see somebody on a motorcycle coming up behind me, and I'm like, wow, what's he got on his head? It looked like a Santa Claus hat. It's August. And we get to the light, and sure enough, this guy pulls up, and his helmet is covered in what looks like a Santa Claus hat, and the face shield has the white for like the Santa's beard. And it's got the little red tip and a little white ball on the top. And he was like, he must have had earbuds in or something, because he was jamming. He was just like, and I tapped my horn and looked at it, and I rolled down my window and I just went. That kind of joyful exchange, what that said to me was, you're in the flow, Kit. You're in the flow. You can be in the flow by going into imagination like that. So what are we going to do right now? We are actually going to go into the flow. So I invite you to put your feet flat on the floor, uncross your arms. If you have anything on your lap, please set it down, set it aside. We are going to exercise our imaginations right now. So take a deep breath. Full belly breath. Full all the way out. Let it all out. Push it all out with your diaphragm. Take another one. And ease yourself into imagining your happy place. A physical location. Whether you have been there or not yet. A place that you can see. It might be a room in your house. It might be out on the water. It might be on a mountaintop. It doesn't matter. It's your place. And we're going to take a moment to align with all of the sensations of it. So, what does it look like? Notice what the scene is. What's populating this scene? Do a 360 around the space, above and below, too. What's above you, what's below you? You sitting, standing, floating, swimming? How's the temperature? What are you feeling on your skin? A breeze? What clothes are you wearing? If you're wearing any at all. What are the sensations on your skin? And then gently focus on the sounds. What are you hearing in this place? Is there music? Is it still? Is it a party? Go a little deeper. If it's quiet, what kind of quiet is it? And then gently turn your attention to the smells and the tastes. What are you experiencing in those physical sensations while you are in this place of joy and happiness? and relaxation and peace. And now that you are relaxed and comfortable and in your safe and happy place, I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a situation in your life that is causing you to not feel so safe or balanced or peaceful. Just one. You only need one. And bring to mind that one action step you know in your heart that needs to be done, that needs to be taken care of, that needs to be addressed so that you can move forward. And just keep breathing. You are in your safe place. You know what that one thing is that you know would be an absolute game changer in your life. And take a deep breath. Let these words become yours as you focus on that one step. I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. I'm going to ask you to repeat these words silently to yourself. I am guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. I invite you now to affirm silently to yourself, I am willing to see this situation differently. I am willing to change my thoughts about this situation. I am willing to turn entirely away from struggle, doubt, fear, and worry. I am willing to imagine, to envision an outcome that is beneficial, healing, helpful, and life-affirming to everyone involved, whether they are known to me or not. I am willing to let go of any unconscious belief or pattern of thinking that says I need to control or know how this is going to happen. I'm willing to let go and trust that the law of right action is handling the details and it is doing it perfectly. I am willing to allow love to lead in this. I am willing to allow it to be easy, effective, efficient, and enjoyable. I'm willing to trust that Spirit loves play. I affirm that everything is in divine right order and timing. I affirm that life is always in favor of more life. I affirm that I'm guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. I embrace and accept that God is my source and complete supply. God is my infinitely intelligent, creative, and unconditionally loving collaborator. Therefore, I cannot fail. And therefore, I am willing to take this step, this first step, the divine right action, confidently, boldly, expressing all that Spirit designed me to express, trusting that the law has already opened the floodgates of support and supply to bring this into form. I affirm that there is just one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. So take a deep breath. And gently begin to bring yourself back to this place, to this room, to the chair you are seated in, noticing the stillness. And when you're ready, be here now. Y'all did great. Y'all did great. You're glowing. You're smiling. Get out there and ride. Namaste.
I got lost. Whoa. Oh. I think now is the time of our offering. Am I right? Whew. Thank you, Kit. That's amazing. Oh, amazing. Oh. Now is the time of our offering. It's time to share our financial gifts, with this ministry, with this church, with this community. So let's together, which I believe is on the screen, say our prosperity blessing. God is my unfailing source. I stand steady and sure in the face of uncertainty, confident that divine ideas will assure my prosperity.
All right. Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. You punched your ticket the day you were born. First chapter, the big tale. Dragons fight, police to ride away to the holy grail. There's just one long road called destiny or fate. One long road, the one that is your name. When love is always on your side, get out there and ride. Fire in my heart make you crazy. Take you round the bend. Million questions to be answered. All those twists and turns bring you back again. There's just one long road, destiny or fate. One long road, one there's your name. When love is always on your side, get out there and ride. Take it away, Brad. Break it down. We all get sidetracked somewhere along the way. Get caught up in the gridlock of fear. But there's never a traffic jam on the high road, and
I think now is the time we get in our circle. Oh, before we do that, I want to welcome any first-time guests that are here. I go off script, and it's not a good idea. And if you are new and if you would like more information about who we are, what we stand for, why we're here, we do have information packets in the back, and any of the ushers or myself can provide you with one of those. We also have prayer chaplains who are available after the service. Generally, one person is standing here, another in the hallway. If you haven't taken advantage of a prayer chaplain experience, I highly recommend it. I love my chaplain. She calls me every month, and usually I'm not around, so I get to re-listen to her voicemail again and again and again, and it's always inspiring. Thank you, Jill. And with that, I believe we do. We get in the circle. I love his dress. It's so pretty. Now's the time if there's anyone on your heart that you would like to share with the circle. Please say their names either loud or you may just think them, but keep those people in mind. And let your imagination bring them the best. And with that, we'll say our prayer for protection. Nobody's going to start. I am like gone. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.